Hi there, students. Misinformation, disinformation. What's the difference? Well, clearly disinformation is where somebody tells you something that is not true on purpose. Disinformation is like gaslighting. It's the spreading of information that is false, that is misleading, and it has the purpose of deceiving people, of manipulating people, of manipulating public opinion. Now we come to the word misinformation, and this word is more problematic. In theory, misinformation should be information that's wrong, that is not spread because you know it's wrong, but because you were just informed wrongly. However, the word misinformation is very often used as well with the same meaning as disinformation. And misinformation is false or inaccurate information that supposedly is unintentionally spread. But the problem is misinformation is also spread maliciously as well. Let's see, misinformation has a nuance that it's less bad, it's less evil. It was a mistake, misinformation. However, a lot of the misinformation that we receive is pure disinformation. Disinformation, deliberately misleading people, misleading people, tricking people into believing things that are not true in order to change the way of thinking in the company. There's dissemination of untrue material. So this idea of misinformation, wrong information, the fact that people are misinformed. There's a lot of misinformation about the disease that needs to be corrected. But the problem is this is also intended to deceive. His election campaign was based on misinformation about his rival candidates. So misinformation is the act of giving wrong information. And it can be by accident or on purpose, whereas disinformation is only on purpose. I think by using the word misinformation, you are implying that it was unintentional, but misinformation is information that is incorrect, whether it be intentional or not intentional. So it can be difficult. A campaign of misinformation, this is clearly on purpose. Attitudes based on misinformation. And I think we live in a society, yes, this is a society where there is lots and lots of information. But the problem is there are huge amounts of misinformation or disinformation. And we are now getting to the point where it's very difficult to believe what is true. And misinformation is believed because people want to believe it. Another factor in misinformation is misleading information can become incorporated in people's memory of past events, and then people start to remember events that never happened. Yeah, I remember this happening, and this is it incorporates itself in what you remember. So misinformation, incorrect or misleading information, it doesn't matter where it comes from. Yeah, it might be unintentional, it might be intentional. Disinformation is definitely with the intention of gaslighting, with the intention of tricking people. And I think we now are moving into the era of false news. And I think it's going to become more and more important that the news that we read, it has something that guarantees the truth of it. And the problem is, nowadays you can make a copy of somebody saying anything and it looks like them, it sounds like them, but it's not them. And then how do we know what is true and what isn't? So that was a deliberate piece of information. The public have been fed misinformation about the health risks involved in this. Many negative attitudes are based on misinformation. I think maybe spin doctors specialize in misinformation. And misinformation, it can be a real problem. So, to misinform, to disinform, this is clearly malicious. It might be malicious, it might not. Misinformation, disinformation, I'm going to give them both a 6 in formality, use anywhere. So misinformation or disinformation. Bye for now.